Everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about how tradition ruins everything. Okay, it ruins everything. It ruins mindset, it ruins relationship, it ruins marriages, it ruins personal growth, it ruins even glowing up. Tradition, 90% of it or 80% of it tends to ruin a lot of people, and it ruins a lot of individuals as well. And not only that, it tends to nullify God's word in our life. So today I'm going to focus on how tradition nullifies the word of God, and also how it ruins us as individuals, and it ruins things that we get ourselves into, such as relationship, marriage, friendship, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, for those of you that don't know, obviously my background is Nigeria. Okay, I'm Nigerian Irish, but in most African countries, I can't really speak for the Western side of things, but in most African countries, each country in Africa has their own tradition, has their culture, and a lot of it is just man-made rules. Okay, it's man-made rules that have existed for such a long period of time, very, very long period of time, and that from generations to generations to generations, people have been following it. People have become a victim of it, to the point that even when an individual doesn't want to follow it, sometimes it could be so bad that they can use witchcraft to even force you or to even threaten you to follow it. That is just how bad it is. But the beautiful thing is that when you are saved and when you are prayerful, you won't have to be a victim of that. Because I know a lot of what I'm going to say in this video, a lot of black people are a victim of this, because like I said, most countries in Africa have a lot of traditions that they have to follow. Also, it's the same in the Asian part of the world as well. They also got their own tradition. I don't really know too much of that, but I know that a lot of these places have traditions that tend to ruin people. So I'm looking down on my phone so I don't forget the things that I'm going to say in this video. Now, one thing I want you to understand is that tradition is something that has put people in bondage. You can say tradition or you can say culture, either way. It's something that has put people in bondage. And I'm gonna give you an example. Like in some part of the world, they believe that your wife has to have a male child, and if she does not have a male child, then you have the right to go and look for another woman and make sure you get her pregnant so she can have a male child for you, so that your name can continue on this earth. Okay, that is a tradition. That is something that exists in some parts of the world. And the reason why it ruins people is because, like, look at it, for example, right? You get married to a man hoping that you're going to have a beautiful marriage, he's not going to cheat on you, because every girl that gets married, one thing that every girl is afraid of is if that man is going to cheat. Okay, and now you get married hoping that he doesn't, and then all of a sudden you realize that you've given birth to a whole bunch of girls, you don't have a son, and then your in-laws start disturbing you that it's in our culture or it's in our tradition that you have to have a son. If not, our son can go and marry somebody else. Now, when your husband goes out there to marry somebody else or to get somebody else pregnant, now the wife is hurt. Now you've put that wife in a detestable place. You've put her in bondage, because now what was once good and happy, what was once joyful, has now become bad and has become bitter for her, because her man has gone out to look for another woman to get a son. So that's the thing that culture and tradition does. It puts people in bondage. Okay, in some cultures, they would say, if you want to marry our daughter, they would say you have to pay £2,000. Like, I know a Chinese girl like that. She said in her culture, when a man wants to marry her, the man has to pay about 5,000 to 6,000 just to marry her, and that if he's not able to pay that, then he can't marry her. And what, like, the job that her man is doing is not really enough to get that kind of money in just 1 year. Obviously, you have bills to pay, you have house rent to pay, all that kind of stuff. It's not enough to get it done in 1 year. And both of their flesh is craving for each other. So what do? They sneak behind their parents' back and they start living together, and their parents are not even aware of it. Do you see how it puts people in bondage? It puts people in a uncomfortable situation, because there's this tradition that has been going on for years and nobody has decided to break it. Nobody has decided to put a stop to it. People just keep following it from generation to generation to generation. And that is my issue. That's why I'm not someone who is like 100% follows everything in my culture or do everything in my tradition. If it's not making sense to me, if it's not going to make me happy, if I'm not going to be happy doing it, then I'm not doing it. If it's going to put me in bondage, then I'm not going to go ahead and do it. In Nigeria, they have this thing where once your child gives birth, then the mother, how do I explain this? Once you as a mom, once your child gives birth, meaning once you have a grandchild, you are no longer allowed to give birth to any more children, because they see it as you should be taking care of your grandchild, right? But life happens. What happens if you accidentally got pregnant again and you have a grandchild? Or what happens if your child was 16 and she got pregnant, so you became a grandchild at a very young age and you also got pregnant again? Like, what's gonna happen? Do you know what I mean? Like, these things happen. Tradition is a man-made rule, and that's why as a Christian you should not be someone who is so adamant, like you're not willing to change from your tradition, you're not willing to change from your culture. Like it's a terrible thing, because people around you won't be able to enjoy your presence because you're so traditional, you're so cultured, and you're not willing to be flexible and learn to adapt and adjust in certain situations. So that's the issue with tradition and culture. Also, back in the olden days, like, there was a tradition where kings had to marry virgins. Back in the olden days, I'm talking about the olden days, where virgins were valuable. This day and age, nobody really cares if you're a virgin. Virgin back then was valuable, and the only person that could marry a king actually was a virgin. And the thing is that there was obviously a reason behind it, why a virgin was more qualified to marry a king compared to a girl who was not a virgin, because they believe that a girl who's not a virgin, you don't really know how many men she slept with, you don't really know whether she's got pregnant elsewhere, you don't know whether she's got some kind of disease or whatever, so it's just best to pick a virgin where you know you can just start from scratch. But what if the virgin is a bad girl? What if the virgin doesn't know her role as a wife? What if the virgin is a witch in disguise? Do you know what I mean? You could have another girl who's not a virgin, and she might be wifey material. She might know how to be a wife. She might know how to take care of her family, know how to put her home first. Okay? And this is where grace comes in, because with God, there's something called grace, which is unmerited favor. It's something you don't work for, something you're not qualified for, but God gives it to you. And that's the beauty of being a Christian and really depending on God. Because tradition says a virgin has to marry a king, right? In the olden days. I don't know about now. But grace says she might not be a virgin, but I'm going to make this man fall in love with her, even though she's not even qualified to be a queen. That's grace. All right? And that's the beauty in grace. You don't work for it. You're not qualified for it, but you just got it. It's like Mary in the Bible, right? Mary is engaged to Joseph. People are aware that she's about to marry Joseph. But God's like, who is going to carry baby Jesus? Who am I going to pick to carry baby Jesus? And God looks down and he's like, you know what? I'm going to pick Mary. Now, if you want to look at it, Mary's a virgin, right? But she's not really qualified because she's engaged to somebody already. She's engaged to Joseph. So I would think, why would God pick someone who's already engaged to another man? Why can't God pick a virgin who's still single? But that's grace. God does not have terms and conditions and a set of rules. And that's why it's wrong for you to put God in a box, because grace is something that you don't deserve it. It just happens that you got it. You don't deserve that position, but it just happens that you're there. And you didn't do anything to get there. You didn't have to lie about it. You didn't have to, change your name or change your age, or you didn't have to do anything like that. But you just got there by God's grace. All right? And that's why you need to try as much as you can to renew your mind, so that your tradition and your culture won't hinder you from receiving God's grace. I see many people today, they work, like more than 40 hours a week, got 2 different types of job, living a very hectic, stressful life at a very old age, just trying to make ends meet. And to be honest with you, if you really just depend on God and you just tell God to make a way for you, you realize that you might not have to do that many hours before you can make ends meet. Honestly, there are things that God has given me that I'm not even qualified to get. I'm not even supposed to actually get it, but I got it. And that's why when people always ask you, how does God bless you? You really can't explain it. The way it happens, how it happens, you can't explain it. But you just know that you're blessed. All right? And that's the beauty in grace. And that's the problem with tradition. Tradition is a set of rules. It's a set of rules that you have to follow. It ruins people's mindset. It ruins the mindset. I remember when I was really, really young, and me and my brother entered someone's car, right? And I'm obviously the oldest in my family. My brother that comes after me, we're 6 years apart. And he told us that we should get into his car. He'll give us a lift and drop us to school. So I wanted to sit at the back of the car. I love sitting at the back of the car because that way I can just chill, rest my head, listen to music, put the window down a little bit and fall asleep. So I told my brother, you sit at the front, I sit at the back. And the man just turned around and he's like, why is your brother sitting at the front? No. You are older, okay? You are older. You sit at the front. Your brother sit at the back. And I was like, there's nothing wrong if he sits at the front, okay? That doesn't change the fact that I'm older. I just want to sit at the back. There's nothing wrong with that. I told him to go sit at the front because I would like to sit at the back. That's it. It doesn't change the fact that I'm older. It doesn't change respect or anything. It's just, this is my choice. And it's because in his culture, the older has to sit at the front and the younger needs to sit at the back. And I'm just like, come on now. You need to renew your mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. If the president decides that, you know what, I don't want to be in a car. I want to sit on a horse. And I want the horse to take me to school. That does not change his title as a president. That does not change his position. That does not mean that when the people see him, they won't bow to him. You know, they will. They still have to respect him because the title is still there. It doesn't change anything. So tradition ruins people's mindset. And you have to be someone who has to renew. You have to renew your mind every single day. Every single day. Because if you don't learn to renew your mind every single day, you're going to fall a victim of your tradition and culture. And at the end of the day, you're going to hurt yourself. Because like I said, it's a man-made rule. And when it's a man-made rule does not consider people's emotions. It doesn't consider people's feeling. It doesn't consider people's happiness. It's just a rule that is being made either out of anger, out of bitterness, out of logic, different things that tradition has been made from. Okay? What else did I wanted to talk about here? Yes. And one more thing. when you are willing not to follow your tradition, like, I'm not saying, you know, dump your culture and dump your tradition altogether. No, because sometimes in some tradition there is some wisdom behind it, and some is good, some is not good. This is where discernment comes in. But when it comes down to you not wanting to follow tradition, like for example, right, in this day and age, when a girl wants to get married, you have to wear a white dress. Yeah, that's a tradition. That is not compulsory. If I decide that I'm going to walk down that aisle with a pink dress, there's nothing you can do about it, because I paid for my day. It is my day, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Do you get what I'm saying? But tradition says wear a white dress. But if you renew your mind, you can walk down wearing a black dress. You can walk down wearing a green dress. You can walk down wearing a pink dress. Now, yes, people are going to fight you for that. People are going to have a problem with that, because like I said, people are so used to following people doing the same thing. Like, people don't have this thing of, wait a minute, why do I have to follow you? I can do it my own way. I can go this way instead of that way. People don't have this type of mindset. So when they see people breaking rules and breaking tradition, they have a problem with it, and they want to know, why are you breaking the rule? Why are you breaking the tradition? Why can't you just do what everybody else is doing? And for some people, it just doesn't work. Like for me, for example, I just don't follow the majority of what people do. It's just not in my nature. I don't do it at all. I do things my own way, in a way that it makes sense to me. But when I see loads of people doing the same thing over and over and over again, I'm just like, how do you even stand out? Like, there's no way you can stand out when it's the same thing over and over and over again. Now, if you do end up seeing me wearing a white dress on my wedding day, I'll be wearing it because I like it. It's not because it's a tradition. It's because I actually like it. Yeah. But like I said before, the day you decide that you're going to break the tradition and you don't want to follow it, just know that some people are going to have a problem with you, and you need to have a strong mind, and you need to stand your ground and be like, listen, I am still going to do it this way. As long as God is not saying, look, this is how you do it. In the Bible, it's not compulsory that you have to wear a white dress. It's not compulsory that you have to do traditional wedding. It's not compulsory that it has to be a flamboyant wedding. It's not written anywhere in the Bible. So do it your own way. Customize it to your own taste. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't let people's tradition make you broke. Some people have gone broke because people have told you, no, in our tradition, we do it like this. No, it has to be big like this. No, we got to spend it like this. No, it has to be this color. And then you're done, and the next day you're broke. And now you're frustrated. Now you're angry. Now you're pissed off. And God's just like, I never said this was compulsory. It's your choice. Like, it's just your choice. Okay, I'm doing this video because there's a lot of traditions that need to be broken, that needs to stop. There's a lot of mindsets that need to be renewed, and what's stopping people from renewing their mindset is tradition and culture. Okay, and like the Bible says, it says, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but renew your mind every single day. Because if you don't renew your mind, how are you going to follow God's will? How are you going to receive grace? How are you going to know that this is God? Do you know what I mean? There are times when God's going to put you in a position that you didn't even work for, you didn't even ask for, you didn't even apply. And people are going to be like, no, babe, that's probably the wrong name. I don't think that's you. You better call them again and ask them, are you sure that is me? Before you know it, you're going to miss out on that opportunity. And the thing about grace is, once it comes and you don't grab it and you don't take it and take possession of it, if you miss it, that's it. That same opportunity might not come back. So that's why it's important that you have to renew your mind all the time, please, so that you don't miss out on God's grace and on God's favor. Okay, so that's it on this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with those who have refused to let some traditions go. Okay, share it with them. And yeah, follow me on Instagram at DamilolaLiz if you haven't followed me, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Until then, stay blessed and stay beautiful. Bye.